G'day guys, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking Down the Charts. This week we definitely had a bit of movement in the market, so what definitely wasn't just a stable week. Had actually a bit of a pullback on Bitcoin and Ethereum, which presented some opportunities for those people sitting on the sidelines who hadn't yet got some exposure just yet, and also probably left a couple of people nervous as to are we going to see further lows, or were we in a bubble, or these types of questions. So very important as always to keep a strong mindset, stick to your plan. Obviously, be taking profits at various, resistance levels, but nevertheless not to have too weak hands and just, as soon as you start to see a pullback, just sell out or anything like that. So make sure that you are looking at the market holistically, and try not to, in this time when things were going really, really hyped, and if they do start to come back again, try not to spread yourself too thin across too many projects. That a lot of people tend to do that. They see one person getting a lot of money in, it might be one coin. I'm not going to mention names, but I've seen it in the Mining Sword Discord, and then people want to jump in all of them. They get a bit overwhelmed. Try and stick to, most of your exposure in your parent assets, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then of course you can put some exposure into some small plays, which we will go through today as well. And nevertheless, let's have a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, obviously, I've been tracking it with these pitchforks as well. And basically, as you can see, we're kind of tracking in this lower term pitchfork at the moment. Now, I do have this pink line here coming up all the way through, which is a bit of a trend line, which we're sitting below. So over this week, I'd like to hopefully kind of creep back up and get a bit more exposure above this. However, I do think we're probably going to trade sideways for a little bit before we see another uptick. I'm not really too confident that we're going to see these 9,000 levels, although it's definitely possible. There is a really strong level of resistance or support, sorry, here, which we bounced straight off. You can see previously earlier on, or mid last year, where the market was kind of trading sideways and it was trying to decide if it was going to go up or down. Eventually it did break down, and then again kind of reached that point and broke down it. And then, just after the COVID kind of crash, as we're trading sideways, we finally broke through that. So I do think it's going to take a lot of volume to actually break on the downside of this again. If it does, then I think that we'll probably see around the 9,000 level. But I honestly think we're probably going to trade sideways and then start to come back above this, trend line, support line here. So that's basically what I'm looking at. Other thing to notice, obviously, the RSI is at all-time lows, so down at this 30% level. It's really not often that we do see the RSI kind of come down to this level here. The last time we saw it was on that COVID crash, and since then we've been tracking above it. Before that, there's been a couple of times, but every time it's at that 30% RSI, we do usually see a bit of a turnaround in the market, and that seems to be where we are right now. So that's why I've got confidence that I think we're going to trade sideways, then get a bit of an escalation. But I do also have it in my sight that it's possible we may get to the 9,000 level. If we do get down here, then I'll probably increasing exposure to Bitcoin. Maybe with it might be fresh fiat, or closing off some of the altcoins that I've been trading and closing back into Bitcoin. Moving across to Ethereum, Ethereum has basically had a big downturn as well over the course of this year. As we've been tracking, Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin, but there was quite a large crash just over these past couple of days, or over the weekend as well, of about 34%. Now, anytime in this point in the market, where I believe we're in that kind of bullish cycle, I might even just get a chart up, Bitcoin halving cycle, and I'll just show you what I refer to there. There's a particular image that I like to refer back to quite a lot, this one here. So as you can kind of see, hopefully this does actually load up. Now we go back, or scroll down. Here it is. It's even smaller. Might go back to the other image. As you can see here, basically what we've got is we've got these kind of halving dates, and that's when the supply of Bitcoin is reduced by a half. And in between that, we get this really pattern-like formation where just after the halving, we get a really wow, parabolic parabolic run. Wow, I'm gonna get a couple comments on that one. Pushing up all the way to the top of this kind of trend line, and then we do get a really bad like pull off in the market, followed by an accumulation phase in blue, another small run accumulation phase, and then we go back to the start of the cycle. Parabolic, that's the word I was trying to say. And basically, as we get to the start of that cycle, we push up towards the top line again. So I mean, it's not definite that it's going to happen, but it's happened over the past three cycles. These are 4-year blocks, and it tends to play out in that exact formation every single time. So taking that back to the charts, basically the message I'm getting out there, anytime I see large drop-offs of say 30 or so percent, I'm looking to increase my exposure to Bitcoin and or Ethereum, understanding that we are at the start of this kind of next run, and if I see pullbacks, I want to increase exposure to it. So I bought quite a bit of Ethereum over the weekend, down at this level here, managed to pick the market, did go a little bit lower as you can see here, but managed to pick the bottom quite well. Had a couple of people that were messaging me over the weekend asking, oh, should I buy? And I was saying that yes, I am going to, and they didn't really understand why. So I'm just going to go through what goes through my mind when I'm looking at these. Basically, what I'm looking at is I look at these kind of, these high points in the market, and I figure, when the market turns around, that's a key price level for me. And I basically, you can see at this point here, the market crashed through, and then since there, it kind of kept going down, and it tried to break through again, and it didn't. So that's a key price level for me. And then it kind of got to the bottom of this one here, didn't break through, and then obviously it broke through at this point here. So the fact that it's broken through there, it required quite a lot of volume to do that. That along with well, that's what set the key price level for me. So once we broke through that, and I was watching the charts, and it was kind of bouncing here and losing momentum on the downside, and we got to this level here, and I said, yep, I'm going in here. If it did kind of pull back down to here, I would have doubled my position, and then if it kept going down, I would have just held it. Whether it takes 3 years or not, I'm just going to have to hold that position, and obviously, unfortunately, you get it wrong, but that's the nature of trading sometimes. So feel like I've got it pretty well. I mean, right now, that's a nice from that kind of 40% or 35 to 33% decline from here to where we are now, a nice about 8%, which is really good. Happy with that. I do think that we'll start to recover, or as I was saying, same with Bitcoin, trade sideways for a bit and then get another run up. So happy with that position that I got in there. And as I say, if it does come down, I'll probably look to increase exposure here. That'll be my last position. Other than that, just kind of holding. But I have that confidence on the back of, I believe that we're at the start of another kind of bullish cycle. Now, there are going to be some topsy-turvies, obviously, in play with, stock markets and the global economies and this COVID situation that we're in. So I'm expecting some pullbacks, but I'll be taking advantage of those pullbacks and more looking for buy opportunities rather than sells. Okay. So that's a bit of a summary there. Moving on to DigiBuy. Unfortunately, we did break out the bottom of this wedge. I really wanted to kind of start pushing up and finish this wedge formation and get a nice break out the top. But nevertheless, that's what trading is. The market had a really bad week, so I can't expect too much. Obviously, some money being taken out of the market. I do think it's possible that we do break back into this territory here. The exact same thing kind of happens here. If we, before we could see all this happening, sometimes you think the trend line is being set up here, and then obviously, the market can kind of, if you were tracking the trend line more here, it can kind of break out and struggle to get back into the trend, and then it finally does kind of get back in and run up. Exact same here. It's not, uncommon to kind of pull out of the trend line for a bit, then come back into it. So I'm pretty confident on this one. I really like DigiByte long term anyway, and I'm still holding this position here. I did buy back more in, as I indicated in last episode, and looking to hold that to get a breakout of the top here. That's probably it for DigiByte for the moment. Moving into Teller, I was really tempted to buy some Teller, even though I know I say that I haven't been overly impressed with some of the way that the nodes are structured, with that 1,000 node stake, and not really clear guidelines on how to keep that 100% active and avoid disputes. I think it's something that's led to a lot of centralization in the mining pools for Teller, and so I was kind of sitting on the sidelines and not really watching. I sold out too early, as we all know, at 27 US dollars, but nevertheless, it is a mineable coin, and I do follow it quite closely. And prices are, if it came back closer to this area here, I wanted to buy back in. I did think about it over the weekend. Unfortunately, I didn't. But for those who are still mining, it looks like it's responding quite well and getting some nice price action here. As I say, I did not enter back in. There are other projects that I did decide to enter in, which I'm going to go through later on in this episode. But a bit of an update on Teller. I do want to see this project succeed for our miners. It's really good to have a successful project to be able to mine. But overall, I'm not entering back in just yet unless we see a little bit lower. Serum I did enter back into, did quite well on my trading on Serum, didn't nail it 100%, but I entered in Serum at about $1.80. I exited at about $1.65, sorry, $2.65, which is about, sorry, $2, yeah, 65, which is here. But I sold it about here, didn't get this top run here, and then obviously it came back down. I purchased back in at about $2.85, and it looks like it's starting to get some really nice price action. So I'm going to hold that 285 entry and hopefully get above this $3.80 price up here. Might be a little bit difficult with this, slightly very, very short-term bearish action that we're getting, but we'll have to see. But I'm happy with my entry, and I've already made profit on this trade. But it does look like we're starting to get that traction coming back up. This Serum project is, a supporter of FTX's decentralized exchange coming up. So I'm definitely, bullish on FTX and the platform in general, and happy to hold this trade for quite a bit longer and try to get back above this 380 territory. DIA unfortunately had quite a bit of a pullback. I'm still holding. I probably should have, in hindsight, sold off some of my positions. I knew this was more of a kind of medium short-term play that was going to see some big sell-offs due to the way that the seed funding and private funding was happening. To be honest, a little bit of a lapse of concentration on this one. Should have rolled those, sold off closer around the $4 territory and potentially roll into ALEPH, which I'm going to go into soon. That was the original play. Got distracted with some other things, some personal things, and obviously didn't execute that trade. So I'm still just holding DIA. I'm going to get a little bit of information. I mean, it happens, guys. Unfortunately, sometimes you don't have 100% attention on the market and you miss your own strategy that you set out. But I'm going to see if it's the right move to kind of hold or if I should be selling some off. Overall, I really like the DIA project. I think they're doing really, really great things. So I'm actually happy to hold it. But I'm just going to check with some of my Intel group and see what they think. If it's better to roll this into something else for now and then come back into it later. But yeah, again, like that Oracle Oracle coin space, Chainlink, Teller, and now DIA coming to the play. I think that there's a lot of potential for DIA here. So happy to hold it, even if it does go down a bit further. But a bit disappointed that I did miss my play there. That's okay though. Coming into LF, obviously it had a massive run up and then a really big pullback. I actually did take advantage of this pullback. I think I purchased in probably around this territory here, a bit below 30 cents, about 28 cents about here is where I purchased back in, and good to see it kind of bounce off this support line. Again, I think LF is the next one that's going to have a really nice price action. My targets are well up here at kind of $1.10 to a dollar. So I'm probably done buying up for now. I think I purchased, on a lot of these pullbacks, and I purchased up again, holding quite a decent amount of ALEPH now. So I'm going to hold that one on and see if I can kind of run from here up. I might take profits at around this 80-cent territory, between 60 and 80 cents, but holding the majority of it up to the $1.10 territory for me. Moving into Loki, Loki had a really, really good run as well. I actually managed to sell off some of my Loki from the yields I've been earning across all the nodes that I am hosting for myself. I also host them for the community as well, which is really good. But I managed to sell off some of my positions up in this kind of a $1.10 area, which is really, really good trading. Managed to help a couple of people sell off their positions as well. No, I did not unstake my nodes. I decided for me, just to make this clear, guys, with Loki, basically, I really, really like the project. I really like the team. I like what they're achieving long term. Although, sometimes it's disappointing when you're locked up for 15 days and you see these big runs. You're like, oh, I wouldn't mind trading this because you're pretty aware that it's going to pull back. But in the long run, if I did that every single time and then missed out on some staking returns, I'm earning about 20% yield, 20 to 25% yield per year for just doing not much at all, just passively just enjoying it and just selling off some of the yields I've been earning. So overall, I'm pretty happy with how things are going. And basically what my objective is for my Loki investment is I'm looking to see a really stable $1 US. So I want to see the price up here. I can change this chart to USD, but basically I want to see the price be stable at $1 US, so not just pump up and then fall down. I want to see it stable like this at around $1 US. And I also want, although it sounds counterintuitive, I want to see the yields fall down to around 10% per annum. Now, the reason why I want to see the yields fall down to 10% per annum is that that tells me that there's a lot more nodes on the network. There's a lot more people involved, and things are going to become a bit more stable in terms of price. And I also don't see the risk to reward for keeping my Loki node running when the price is at $1 and I'm earning less than 10% yield per year. At that point is where I'll probably start to close not all of my nodes, but some of my nodes and reduce my exposure to Loki. But other than that, I'm more than happy, and I'm always going to be involved with the project. I'm more than happy to hold quite a significant amount of Loki locked up, earning 20 to 25% yield per year, and just selling off the yields up on these pumps. Whenever I see these big pumps of 20, 30, 40, 50%, even 166% there, and even this one here, I think over this period here, about 100%. Of course, I'm selling off my yields at these dollar plus prices, and that's where I cash in my profits. Hopefully that clears up. I've had a couple of people ask me what my strategy is for Loki, and that's really what my strategy is. Looking for that a dollar price to be a bit more stable and yields to be below 10% before I close off my nodes, or if some of them, and I'm just selling my yields off on these pumps. Moving into a new coin, which has just been mentioned by one of our great members in the Mining Store Discord, who's provided a substantial amount of information to the Mining Store members over the past couple of months. Now, this project here is in a new sector, which I haven't currently, well, previously, I've bought into this coin at around this price down here. But this project here is in a new sector, and that is the decentralized VPN space. Now, for those of you who don't know what a VPN is, a VPN is a virtual private network, and essentially what that is being able to access a computer or computer storage or computer power from a separate location to where you are currently located. It might be to run a program on, or it might be to run a node on, whatever it might be, or it might even be to run a remote computer. So you could have a Windows installed on a server over in Germany, for example, and you can log into that portal and access it. It protects your privacy. It's running off a separate IP address to your home IP address, so you can conduct some of your research or whatever it might be, communication through that VPN, or host a node through that VPN. So the a lot of those a lot of those services, VPN services, whether it be Hetzner or Volta, these are some of the big companies that provide VPNs. They are centralized. So if, for example, a government had clause to subpoena or have a search warrant on and access those VPNs, those companies maybe have to give up that data and access to that information. And that's why I really, the main thing people are trying to achieve here is the protection of their privacy and security. And that's a big flaw there. If people can just come and, search warrant or get access to that, that's exactly what you're trying to avoid when you're engaging with a VPN. So if you change that to a decentralized space and allow for it not to be centralized in one place where, government or whoever can come and access that data, that is a really, really powerful thing. And this is something that I'm really, really interested in. I probably won't personally use a decentralized VPN if I'll be completely honest. I don't tend to have the need to have that level of security, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be demanded out in the market, okay? Security or privacy, I should say. So overall, I really, really like this space. I'm going to be looking at other VPN coins. Al mentioned one in the Discord. For those who are in there, make sure that you check it out. I might actually bring over the chat just now. As you can see just here, Al was talking about this coin here. So he's posted Sentinel, and you can have a look at basically what he said here, the reasons why we're investing in this coin and what he likes about it. It's basically being included in the Kira staking opportunity. For those of you who don't know of Kira, have a look into this project as well. Great project coming up. And basically, he's just given there's other coins such as Orchard in the space that you could check out. But yeah, I've taken my position about a week ago in this project, and I strongly recommend people to have a look into this one. I think this one could be a really great project going forwards, and it's something I'm excited to have exposure to, this decentralized VPN space. Okay. Moving on to Compound. Now, Compound's traded quite well. I managed to kind of just follow these Fibonacci levels. As I say, we entered first here and we sold out around this 50% line. It came back down and we entered in pretty close, towards this trend line here. Managed to sell out as it kind of broke out of this level here. And now I'm considering, I think it's playing out really well to this lower end trend line. I actually posted my chart in here. I'll see if someone else can give me their opinion on it. It doesn't look like anyone has just yet, but only just posted it a couple of minutes ago. But basically, I'll see what people think on Compound, and I very well may re-enter into Compound. I do think, this DeFi space has a lot more to give, although it does look like we've kind of had a bit of a bubble pop, and some of these projects that even I was in, these were high risk projects, have lost a lot of their value. Obviously, gained a lot back today, which is great. I think I entered in here at about $33, sold a lot of mine out at $60 to $65, but still holding a decent amount, and it's come back down to 26. So I'm going to hold this one, but these yield coins, they're in a bit of a bubble with this YFI coin, yield finance coin. This was at $33,000 just last Friday, and it's come down to 23. So that bubble kind of popped, and that's what's kind of pulled out a lot of liquidity in the rest of the market. We've seen Bitcoin fall because a lot of hype and desperate money was in here, people making uneducated decisions and panic selling, and that's kind of trickled out through the rest of the market. So huge market cap, as you can see, $710 billion, 710 million dollars, $722,987 in the market cap. There's a lot of money tied up in this project, and that's pretty much everything for today. Just to finish up things there, obviously, as I said, took an extra position in Ethereum. Hopefully, going to have a bit of a run up. I'm going to be watching projects like Compound. For entries, I've got enough exposure, but I've already taken my entry in ALEPH down at these lows, looking to get that to run up. Other than that, most of the same thing with Serum, DIA. I hope, as I say, I'm going to hold this one. Should I missed the opportunity there, but Cent is the new project that I've taken entry into. It's just breaking outside of this kind of longer term down trend line, and I really like this decentralized VPN space. Other than that, guys, you guys have a good week. If there's anything else to report midweek, I'll definitely be making a video. If you've got any questions, leave it in the description below, and good luck with your trading.